What happens when peaceful farmers drop their hoes and pick up courage instead of fear? When the people with no guns decide they've had enough? This is not just a story. This is a true fire of the Tiv people. This is the Tiv Rebellion of 1960. And you won't believe what they did. In the heart of central Nigeria, in Benue, lives a proud people. The Tiv, farmers, warriors, storytellers, protectors of their land and traditions. They didn't have much, no factories, no big buildings, but they had their land, their culture, and their freedom. But what happens when that freedom is slowly taken away? Before independence, the British colonial government ruled Nigeria. But even after Nigeria gained freedom in 1960, the Tiv people still felt like slaves. They were forced to pay taxes they didn't understand. They were given native authorities, rulers that didn't care for them. Traditional rulers who were handpicked by government, not by the people. Many of these leaders were corrupt. They collected money, beat people who complained, and enforced foreign laws. People who just wanted to farm and live in peace were being chased like criminals. The Tiv people shouted, "We want our freedom. We want our own voice." But nobody listened. So they decided to fight back, not with guns, but with fire in their hearts. In 1960, the first wave of protests began. Villagers marched together. They refused to pay unfair taxes. They rejected the rulers they didn't choose. They said no to injustice. But the government saw this as a rebellion. Police came. Soldiers followed. Tear gas, bullets, beatings, arrests. Still, the Tiv people stood tall. They didn't hide. They didn't beg. They said, "We are not your slaves." By 1964, the rebellion had spread wide, from Makurdi to Boko, from Katsanala to Vandikia. The fire was unstoppable. The government responded with force. Hundreds were arrested. Some were killed. Entire villages were burnt. Families ran into the bush. Cattle were taken. Crops were destroyed. They wanted to break the Tiv spirit, but it didn't work. Every time they beat one man, 3 more would rise. The Tiv people said, "We are ready to die for justice." It was no longer about money or taxes. It was about respect, identity, and truth. By the late 1960s, the government realized this fight will not end with bullets. The Tiv were not fighting for power. They were fighting to be heard, to choose their leaders, to live with dignity. Eventually, the government had to step back. They reviewed the native authority system. They brought in some reforms to reduce the power of unelected chiefs. They started to listen, even if just a little, but the damage was already done. Blood was spilled. Lives were lost. But the spirit of resistance remained. The Tiv people didn't win everything, but they proved one thing. A poor farmer with no gun can still shake the throne of kings if he stands with truth and courage. Today, we talk about heroes. But what about those nameless men and women who faced guns with bare hands, who stood under the sun, hungry, tired, but refused to give up? That is the spirit of the Tiv Rebellion. That is the power of the people. What do you think? If you lived in 1960s Benue, would you have joined the rebellion? Do you think the Tiv people were right to stand up? Or was there another way? Drop your answer in the comments. Share this story to remind others. Nigeria's history is not just about politics. It's about people who fought with courage. Like, comment, share,